Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Friday, the 21st of February. It's Frankly Friday. Talk about that in a moment. Big gap down on, most things. Still awaiting how this coronavirus is going to affect the market. It's going to start affecting earnings soon. But luckily, we just had an earnings season. Well, not luckily. I would like the market to crash, actually. But we just had earnings season, so that's the biggest effect virus can have on it, is affecting the earnings as Apple released, and even just the news of that was affected it quite heavily. So we have some time before that gets too heavy, but we'll see how long this holds on and if China what happens there. So but yeah, Frankly Friday today. What that means is after we, are kind of settled into our trading, you can raise your hand, and when you do, we can unmute you, and then you can unmute yourself. And obviously, you're agreeing to being recorded by unmuting yourself. But then we can have a conversation, and you can ask questions that you've been wondering. We can unmute a couple people at a time, anything like that. I know we're gonna have a special feature from Tim today on some techniques, so you might have some questions about that. But don't be shy. We don't bite, I swear. Joe, how did we do yesterday?
Well, we did absolutely fantastic. We've had a good week, considering that Monday was not a trading day. After the transition between ending the regular session yesterday and moving over to the podcast, Tim pulled off two fantastic Q trades, one at 9% and one at 9.37. That got us up to the day. We were at 14.71, I think. That got us up to 33.13 for just yesterday. When you add it to the other 3 days, the other 3 days, we're now at 85.62 going into today. So clearly, we have a great opportunity here to creep over the 100 mark, which we've been doing, 100 to 115, 116. So it could be a good day. And this is the last day of our 42nd week. So we'll see how those numbers come out at the end of the day. I don't know if this is Frankly Friday or Frankly Friendly Friday. And I never can exactly get it right. But anyhow, we'll be opening that up after a while. Yesterday on the podcast, I don't know how many of y'all got to hear it, but if you did not, you can go hear it now, because Tim gave a good explanation of. I'll let him name this technique in a second. He's going to go over it here in a minute, because it doesn't take very long, and we can just interrupt any trades while he's doing that. But anyhow, it is on the YouTube podcast, and then you can ask questions. You can ask questions to him today, or make comments about it, or anything when we open the phone lines, or type in your questions like you normally do.
Yeah, we had a very cool thing happen yesterday as I was kind of explaining this technique that I discovered when I was reviewing. Was it Keith was making a trade that actually mirrored what I was talking about?
Randy, yeah.
Randy, yeah.
Funny.
If you get a chance to hear that, it was a lot of great information on the webcast yesterday, and if you guys can attend or listen to them, they're a lot of value on those.
Okay, the market's down 76. The Dow's down 76. It's already open. Let me get over. Yes, it was the update here on the actual market. Well, now the actual market's down. The Dow's down 127.72, 15.94 on the S&P, and Nasdaq's 52.33. I always say this every day. I know y'all get tired of me talking about it, but if you're brand new, send an email to micromomenttrading.com. On that email, just have your name and your cell phone number. That way, if these gentlemen decide to come back after this session ends, Central Time around 9:30, 9:45, if they come back around noon, your screen, you will be already up. When they close it out this morning, the charts will disappear and a big blank will come on there. That's perfectly fine. Just leave it like it is. Yeah. And then if they come back on, the charts will reappear. So that's micromomenttrading.com, and just your name and your cell phone number. You'll be notified by text.
Yeah.
They come back.
You guys are probably noticing this big push down on Q, and the only reason I haven't jumped in already is the spreads are big and they're jumping all around. I think we're going to be in put position today, be a lot of push down, but just waiting for these to settle down just a little bit. 10-cent spreads are very hard to overcome.
Yeah, we're already tight on SPY. You might catch it on SPY if you move over. I tried to get in at 85, but it was just moving too fast to fill. I was looking at it at like 76 too, so all the way up in the high 90s now. Bummed that I missed that one. It's looking to continue though here. See how it handles 335 here. It's looking like it's gonna bounce up.
Yeah, let's look at the 233 strike put on Q. So let me load that in.
A little bit of delay on these charts too, so keep that in mind. Keep refreshing it. I think it's my connection today. It's saying my internet shows full bars, but my internet connection symbol on my webinar panel is at 2 out of 3. So I'm not sure why exactly.
Okay, got a little reversal on Q. Let's see if it bounces back down. We're real strong in the push. I mean, in the put position, and we may get another push down here. Let's see if it's run out of steam. You can see the bouncing.
You know, Martha's already made a trade, 13 cents. Can you believe it? Martha, go home for the day. You're through.
Nice.
Catch. I see your question as well, Mark. Bid and ask size are, you'll see the bid and ask price, which is the best offer and the best bid to buy. The size is how many contracts worth they want at that price. You know, because you can technically have the best offer to be selling, but if you only have one contract, it doesn't, you know, nobody can fill into that. So, you know, the prices that people are at are important, but more important is what size you're going to fill into. Is, you know, what controls how that exchange actually goes down. So bid and ask size are very important.
We have a new term here, BMOF. Ban Martha on Fridays. So it's a move.
Okay, let's see here. We're already at
Bouncing around at 385 here.
685. Ship and try to get a bit of this. 86, 84. Just having a big tug of war on the buy and sell side here. Watching the bar turn red, green, red, green.
Possible reset on SPY. M1 is starting to flatten out, and E2 is low, getting ready to cross up. So still have a huge flare on 2 and 3, full put position. We'll see. I'm just gonna pause for now.
Yeah, same thing on Q, almost identical. In fact, it's darn near identical.
Yeah, man. It went a little lower on that second push right here, but other than that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see who's going to win this.
Again,
who's going to win this tug of war.
This chart company needs to get their act together.
Oof. Oh yeah, good heavens. Okay. So let's see. We're still at the we'll start at the 233 strike put on Q, and let's see here. I'm in 111.
Missed my 102 fill there. Yeah, a little bit tough time getting into these today.
Yeah, I just missed my fill. Let's try this again.
What did you get into Apple for?
Sorry?
I think.
What are you into Apple for?
I almost got into SPY at 102.
Oh, you're not in it.
I didn't. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it could have been an easy 8 cents there.
7. 108. It's trying to reverse.
Yeah, a ton of size going off below the bid, at the bid.
Yeah, look at if you look at Q, see how much is going off below the zero before the center line. A lot of strong pressure for put.
Should enter there at 111. I cannot get a fill to save my life here. Got plenty of size. We got 11,000 contracts traded. Maybe I'm just a little bit late to the party here.
Yeah, I was having the same issue yesterday.
Would have been a quick 111 to 120 there. Decent.
Okay, well, let's move down to the 232.5. See if we can get something filled on this. 93. See if we can get in at 93.
Paused here in this option chain.
Order filled.
All right, got in at 90, 99. I'm at 98 now. Let's see if we get some more push down.
334.5.
99 now. I'm gonna set it out for
I got some at 104 finally there.
okay, we're up at 106. Put a
109 already. Finally caught that.
okay, I got out at 107, 99 to 107.
We're out at 109. Sorry for the delay, guys. That was like a simultaneous trade.
Yeah. That's funny. They just paralleled each other.
Yep.
Good first trade. Nice and clean. See if we can get a little more of this guy. We're at the 232.5 strike put on Q, and 105. Little large on the spreads here, but it's moving. Let's see, 105, 107. I'm gonna roll my matrix down here a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. 105. All right, let's jump in at oh my gosh, it's taken off again. Let's try to pick up some at 108. Got in. Okay, I'm in at 108. Let's go and set our sell. We're at 104 now. I'm sorry, I got it at 106. That's weird. Oh, I see what it did. Okay. Down at $1 now.
What is with these charts in high volatility?
All right, I'm up at we're at 107, jump to 104, back to 105. I'm gonna set it for, where again, 106, we're gonna take for 109. See if we can get filled on 109. It's not looking good.
Yeah, SPY has been chilling here for about 2 to 3 minutes now, so probably not going to continue down on SPY. I got E1 getting ready to flare up hard. I guess after this much of a downturn, a reversal play might not be bad. We already got M1 flat here.
Mm-hmm.
Very little size has gone off on the call, though, understandably so. It's been nothing but down. So I'm going to check out the 335.
Okay. All right. I got went from 106 to 109. Man. Joe, are you there?
I don't think he is. And we turn back down to reverse.
We may have lost him there.
Opened up to a 10-cent spread on.
No, you're at 2.8. Excuse me, 2.83 on that last Q.
Okay, and you got the 99 to 107.
I did. That was 4.81.
Okay, great, awesome.
Wow. Big push.
Yeah, here we go again.
334. This was like midday yesterday.
Yeah, right.
Are you in another Apple?
I think no, just the one. If
Guys,
you
we're at the
think you're
232 strike put. Let's look at that. We're going to prep that. And let's see, 232 at 97. Let's see if we can get in. 94. Oh boy, these, yeah.
these charts are useless right now. It's
Yeah.
just frustrating me.
Yeah. My chart is on time here.
Yeah, you might display yours. We can put that up after this stretch though. We don't want to miss.
You're in
Yeah.
the fund on those Qs, right?
I'm sorry?
You're in the fund on those Qs.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I'm in the fund.
Well, no, because that remember we ran into that problem yesterday. You
Yep.
thought you were in, but really you weren't, so you couldn't get out.
Yep. No, I am. Yep. No, I'm absolutely in the fund today, folks.
Okay.
Thank you, Micah, for all the help on getting this figured out.
Hey, no problem.
Y'all are already at 15.72.
Accelerate again here.
Another 5%. We're over 100.
Okay, guys, we're at the 232 strike put, and I'm gonna try to get in here. It's pushing down. See if we can get filled. Wow, it's just jumping like crazy.
Yeah, this is not.
Let's see if I can get in at 115. Nope.
Yeah, options pulling back already. These puts are really overextended with not much substance. So, in other words, it's moved too fast to where we haven't had fills at every price along the way. So there's gaps in the size. For instance, on the 333.5 put. Go ahead.
No, I'm okay.
You're okay.
Martha
Okay.
made another 6 cents on IWM.
Nice.
There's no stopping her.
Good work, Martha.
11.
So yeah, what you'll get is these air bubbles. You know, we haven't filled any contracts on this strike at 96 or 97. But we have, you know, from 99 to $1.04 and 95 below that. So once you get to 95, once it busts 95, it's pretty much instantly going to snap to 98 because there's no resistance there.
Right.
Not in terms of, like, technical resistance, but there's nobody, you know, wanting to sell at that price because nobody owns it there. You know, there's nobody breaking even there. There's nobody really, you know, unless they take profit or cut loss there and add to it. But pre-existing volume is really helpful to see where the majority of people hold their positions. And right now, everybody on this put holds, you know, between 90 and 87 cents. So they're sitting pretty right now. We see about half of them took profits from 101 to 99.
Martha just made 2 more trades for 10 cents.
Yeah, Joe, I just went in at 117 and got out at 121 real fast.
Okay.
Nice.
Let's see. Guys, we're going to move down to the 231 strike put.
That's good. 3.41 on that last Q.
Thank you. Oh, man, look at these. Holy smokes.
Yeah, movement's getting a little sketchy on SPY here.
I got a 10-cent spread, 6-cent spread. And
Yeah,
it's
it's
heading
not
down.
not really bound to the ETF price anymore.
Yeah. Let me see if this little pullback will either bring these prices back in a little bit.
Puerto Rico Mike says huge spreads on the Qs for puts.
Yep. Yeah, they are. I mean, yeah, we're looking at 7, 8, 10 cents spreads. There's just no there's no reality going on here. This is just over exuberance.
Joseph said 2 trades on QQQ, a nickel each. I probably could have gotten more, but I'm just trying to stay consistent using bracket orders.
There you
Good
go.
man.
There you go.
Good man. That's the best message of the day right there.
Yeah, yeah. You get the prize today. That's awesome.
Big old bounce right now. Yeah, Michael, if you can't find anything, maybe Spire, IWM, Tim's obviously.
Michael, 91 to $1 on Apple put.
Hey. How's Apple being? I haven't even looked at the chart.
Well, remember, you don't like Apple anymore.
I know.
It's a
Yeah,
failed
it's
relationship.
Oh, $4 though. Woo. Wow.
All right, we may finally be in this. Well, as soon as I say it, it'll probably bounce back. But we may be finally in this reversal.
Yeah.
Bargain hunters are out now.
Yep. Starting to hang out above M1 for the second time. It did right here a little bit when we first prepped that call, but it reversed very aggressively. So again, context of the day, we're going to wait a little bit longer than we naturally would then because of what happened last time.
Okay.
Probably for the full M1 cross through 2 going up. U1's in a great spot. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying we may be getting our second. NAS is it's trying to get through M1. It's just finding real resistance at M1. But we got strong buy volume going on. Boy, it's a really, really hard uphill push here.
Yep.
On the call side.
Martha says IWM and SPY are identical. IWM, SPY, Q, that's the thing when it's a market move. I mean, you could probably compare the chart of the Dow itself with it, and it'd probably be pretty similar. We have, when you have market moves, it's not, the own volition of anything. And that's an advantage and a disadvantage of trading a company, right? We're trading 2 ETFs right now, and we used to trade a company and an ETF, an equity and an ETF, so that you guys could see, the different functionings of that. But, I'm not really comfortable with any of the equities out there right now. I feel I do better on SPY. So, but it's something to consider, like what is affecting this movement. If you're on all ETFs, IWMQ and SPY, then they themselves are the market. So if you have an overall downtrend, it's going to continue, and you can use them cautiously, I'll say, but you can use them in reference to each other. I mean, we did a little bit with Q and Apple, right? If Q was taken off, we knew it's probably going to drag Apple with it, and vice versa. Same thing with this. If you see Q taken off and SPY and IWM, in the context of the day is that they're identical, then don't place an independent trade on it, but use it as a factor of likelihood.
All right, so the tick finally broke through M1, slowly climbing its way uphill weekly.
But you're not in, right?
No, not in any trades right now. But this will help to tighten up the spreads, hopefully.
Martha, 27 cents in 15 minutes.
Nice.
Dang. Way to go.
We're at 104.81 for the week now. We're going to make 115.16.
Nice.
Yeah, I should have taken a lot more there. Still working on my courage. I need to be a little bit more forthright with these, forthright with my attempts, and I need to just go for it when I see it. There are about 3 times. I mean, there were a couple times I just didn't fill, but there were a couple more times that I definitely could have. My finger was hovering over it, and I didn't pull the trigger. So I need to get more courageous with that. This call might be failing already.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in the put at this moment because you see this spread on E3. It's continuing again. It was tightening from this point in, and then we see a little bit of flare. It's coming in now. It was just there for a moment if you saw it, but we also have increasing selling volume. And then E1's already rejecting, and obviously M1 never held on the top side of M2. So could still happen, but the put is more likely than the call at this moment. Aside from the fact that we've been nothing but down since we opened. So
Yeah, I really believe the context is toward a put today. I see how it is really struggling to get up, and the buying pressure is starting to decrease. The volume on the buy side is decreasing. I just don't think it's going to have the energy. And when it lets go, it'll probably go pretty strong. A rubber band effect.
yeah. Trying again here. Gonna get up through 334.
Yeah, let's see if it breaks this upper Bollinger Band. Let me see
Yeah,
here.
34. These charts are delayed again. Frustrating. All right, that's enough to cancel the put.
All right, switch over to the call side, the 232 strike call. And let me see what we got here. 92, 91. I don't know. I just don't know.
I was just about to say the same thing, man. It could, but
I just don't think it's got the energy behind it.
yeah, look how quickly, look at these E4 bars. Bam, 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 just fireworks going off, and then in a matter of 4 minutes, just suffocated.
Yep.
This curve down and just instant strangulation. You can see it. It could climb up here. Who knows? Right? This is all probabilities game. It could spike, but
yeah, but
just
looking at these, but I'm looking at 4 and 5 cent spreads on the buy side. It is really struggling. I mean, they're really pushing. Market makers really pushing to make something happen. I think it's the first time we've got pricing above the center line on E4. Market makers are really trying to make something happen on the buy side. Let's see, what else we got? Martha, Steve, 6 cents on Q call. Way to go. Must have got that early and waited a bit. Steve, let me know how long you're in that Q call. I'm just curious.
You say where Martha says she's up 27 in 15 minutes.
Yeah. 29 seconds. Got in there. Okay. All right.
yeah, lots of red going off. Lots of action on the bid.
Yeah, David has a question. He says, "Hi, can we ask Martha what she changed when she changed her technique to become so profitable?" Thanks. Yes, you can actually, Dave. When we open up the phones, you can ask her. I could cut her on. I'm sure she'd just be jumping the chance to y'all talk to each other, and she can tell you. So.
You know, we can probably do that anytime now.
Kind of slowing down.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
open up the phones. Everybody go to your, wherever you cut on your phone, a little hand will pop up. And when we see the little hand, we will unmute you. And like if Steve wants to talk to Martha, or whatever, or David wants to talk to Martha, we can unlock both your hands.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't seen his David L. So
David L.
yeah, David L. I'm kind of concerned because he's always he's always usually inputting questions, and he's always really involved, and I haven't seen him for quite a while.
Here. He's here today.
Oh, he is? I mean,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Sure is.
D. Oh yeah, he's still here.
Yeah.
What's that triangle? Huh. Great. Charts behind again, Elliot. All right, I'll refresh them. Yeah. Crossing down again. Yeah, basically today, guys, I'm going to have interest every time it crosses down through M1 and kind of leave it alone. Once it goes above.
David S. has his hand up. So David, I'm going to unmute you. David, you are unmuted. How can we help you?
I'm just so impressed with all the performance that Martha has. I was just wondering when she switched over from having some difficulties to rethinking her strategy, which has been so profitable, if she could pass on any tips to us.
I think it was right after the shock treatment. But Martha, raise your little hand there and let's get a comment. Okay, Martha just raised her hand. I'm going to unmute her. Martha, meet David.
Hi,
Hi,
David.
Nice to meet you.
I'm not sure anybody should follow what I do, because like today I was up 37 cents and I lost 11 of it in one trade in about 3 seconds, it felt like. But what I changed, because when I first started, just like Tim, I lost my whole portfolio, which is not a lot of money to guys like Tim, but it sure is a lot of money to me. I lost probably $20,000, and I almost gave up. I actually quit for a little while and was very disappointed in myself. And what I realized, just like everybody that's new, when you start to do really well, you start to think you're smarter than the plan. And so I always use a limit order. I have a template set that I don't have to reset every time. I've got many hours with the Thinkorswim guy that I have, setting up my platform, learning it. So I don't, when I make my big mistakes is when I don't have that trigger set, and I know I lose money, not lose money, but I don't make quite as much money, but I get back in immediately. But I have it set now where I have a stop trigger as well as a limit order at the top. That saved me. And the other thing mainly is just listen to them and don't think you're smarter. I mean, Joe is the king of the option trading, and he's the reason why we're all here. And even though he picks on me constantly, which I think that's because I'm tough enough to handle it, but you know, he's the master, and these guys learn from him. And for me to be arrogant enough to think I'm smarter than that was really ridiculous.
I appreciate that. Martha. Martha, let me ask you: when you lost all that money, was that in some big trades, or was it a bunch of little bit smaller trades?
I started with 10 contracts and went up to 20. Then I got up to 50, and then I started getting desperate to try and get the money back, and that's where you make mistakes. But to me, 10 contracts is pretty big with the limited funds that I have, and I'm trying to pay my bills and live off of this money. So,
The reason I ask you, we came up with that little scheme the other day. We went over with Tim about say you only have $10,000, and let's say you only trade cues, and let's say the average price on a cue is $1, and so you want to trade a decent number of contracts, which would be 20. So you can take 2,000 and get 20 contracts of cues, average cost of let's say $1, and you don't ever have any more risk than that. And then when you get out that one, you do it again. You may do it 4 or 5 times a day and never invest any more than that original $2,000. And
right. Now,
so
see,
I'm just saying, if people that are listening to this, that's one way of doing it instead of worrying about a whole bunch of contracts. But 20 is a nice little round number, and you have absolutely hardly any risk. Most you can lose $2,000.
Now that's Joe. You're talking about having a portfolio of 10,000 and making 5 trades of 20 contracts apiece, right?
Yeah, but no, not really. I'm saying to have a portfolio of 10,000 just to have the money in there. Okay, it could only be 2,000. But when you get in for 2,000, you get out for 2,000 of profit. Now you've got your 2,000 back. You got some profit left over. Okay, and so then you get it again. Well, it's you still got the original $2,000. In other words, you don't have $4,000 in. You've got, because you already got back. In other words, you don't go into a new trade until you get out of the first one.
Right, but in the rules state that if you only have $10,000, then you can only, well, let's say you just have $2,000 in your account, you can only make 1 trade.
Okay.
For $2,000 in a day, because you don't get that money back immediately, right?
That's when you.
Well, I didn't want to go into the minutiae of all the little things there, but just the general concept.
Okay, I like
obviously you would want enough in there. But what I'm saying is, even if you had 50,000 in there, and you just did a $2,000 trade, did 5 of them, then obviously you've solved all the anything else that would be a problem. But you still are only at risk at any one time $2,000.
Right. And I like that.
And then you do it 5 or 6 times a day, and that's what these guys do.
Yeah.
You end up making 35 or 40%. Well, in your case, it's 500% a day, something like that.
Well, in ever since I lost all that money, I'm having to build it up very slowly because I didn't have that kind of money to put back in it. I had to start really low and build it back up. So I'm not anywhere close to where I was, but I'm building it back up.
Yeah, you're being humble again, but well, that's what happened to Tim. And I think it's really important that all these folks out here hear that, because I'm sure there's many of them that run into the same situation. And just limit you $2,000, 20 contracts. And here's what the problem is. And there was a gentleman on here the other day that said, "Well, I've only been doing 1 contract." Well, you ain't gonna make any money at 1 contract. Even the commission's gonna eat it up. So just do 20 contracts, $2,000, and never have. I don't care if you got $100,000 in there or $1 million in there. Just do 1 2,000 trade at a time. And you may lose 2,000. So if you lost 100%, I'd never know anybody lose 100% on a trade. But Martha, you only lost $2,000 out of whatever your amount is.
So for David's sake, Martha, you do have a really cool ability to take a little bit of the bigger gains, which David, I'm assuming that's what you mean.
Right. I was just
7 to 12 cent trades.
When you're deciding to get into a trade, is there something that changed that you're looking at differently that says, yes, now I want to get in, that you weren't doing before?
I would guess it's probably on the exit, Martha. So if you could also say how you exit, if you follow up, the limit on the bid and just, click 1 by 1 and get ready to catch it, like what your exit mentality is too.
Well, when I enter a little bit earlier than the guys do, and just because I think I've been told by many people I'm almost fearless, and I don't like Tim waits till he gets out of the till it breaks out of the Bollinger Band, and I think that's too late in my case. Yeah. That's a little too late for me. So I get in, I look back, like I get to know the stock and the tick, and I watch it when I got all. what is
Somebody just jumped into a trade and out of a
it?
trade
By
there.
accident, and I don't even know how that happened.
Was that you?
Yes.
That's the thinker swim sound for
Yes.
entering and exiting a trade.
And I'm not even sure how that happened.
See,
So
she's
I'm
got the
gonna
magic touch.
real quick.
Was it profitable?
Not yet.
You still in?
Yeah, made 4 cents by accident.
Jeez. By
I-
accident.
that frightens me just then. Okay, so
Round of applause.
I get in a little early, and David, I'm not exactly. It's more the habit I have of. I wait a little longer. I think these last 2 days were insane, so you can't really judge by that. But I wait a little bit longer. My losses tend to be a little bit bigger because I wait. Normal losses are 2 or 3 cents, and sometimes I'll have a 6-cent loss, which is not a good pattern to follow. But I tend to exit later, and what I do is look back. The last 2 days don't count. You can't look at that. But if you look back on how the stock reacts when it hits the upper line, and then, if you watch it and you study your charts, you can see how it's reacted in the last week. You can't, like, the coronavirus has kind of blown that, but it's just, you have to develop your own style. But me, I get in a little earlier. Tim is my hero, and I think that what he's done is amazing, but he waits a little longer than me. I get in a little quicker.
Yeah, he's going to explain that new technique here in a minute. I think that Walt Disney ought to do one of those animation movies on you, Martha, and have like J-Lo as the voiceover.
Oh, no, I am almost 6 feet tall, blue-eyed blonde,
There
very
you go.
fair
A real
skin.
Texan.
J-Lo wouldn't work for me.
A real Texan, except maybe spend time in
Martha,
Dallas.
So Martha, when you get in early, so you're waiting before the tick hits the upper Bollinger Band? I mean, the Bollinger Bands, or is there?
No, let me go to Micah's chart. I use my own, but okay, if you look,
I'll be your hands.
okay, I can't, right there, Micah, go over a little bit to the right. When the red crossed over blue and started to go down,
Oh,
there, yeah, right there. That's when, because it's already down, it already
Right.
went down, so that's when I enter. If all the other lines, like, I wouldn't have entered that one because it's the red on E2, red is still over blue, but barely. You can see the blue peeking out a little bit. I'll enter there, and then I'll get out.
On the E2 you're talking about?
What?
On the
What?
E2 you're talking about.
Yeah, so like at 7 o'clock, I'll go in, and if you scoot it down to that where it starts to dip back up, that's where I'll get out. Just a little past there. Now I lost a few cents, but the way the market's been going, it's reached such a big high that it's starting to, adjust itself, I guess is what you guys say.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Yeah,
everything's been on a cliff.
yeah. The other day, Martha asked me why I didn't enter at a certain point. And I'm remembering the chart now, and it looked exactly like that. And I said, well, I mean, it's too early because this and this hasn't happened yet. But thinking back to that trade, it would have worked out great. So interesting. I think we should probably talk more, Martha. It's a bit of a different trade, but the effectiveness is undeniable.
Well, and I still follow your rules about not staying in too terribly.
Oh, yeah, of course.
long. And
Of course.
what, Joe? You gonna be ugly to me?
No, he's fine. The thing is, Martha, the thing is, we're the trade we pull on here, we have a couple different types of trades, but effective is effective at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
right? If it's effective, then there's nothing else to say about it. So, if there's modifications that's why Frankly Fridays is just great because now that you're explaining this, it makes perfect sense to me. Even back to the trade that you asked me why I didn't get in,
Right.
makes perfect sense. And you would have had, probably under that same methodology. Do you wait till M1 crosses M2 or no?
Yeah, I like that point that we were just talking about.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. Is that what your M1 is the white line and M2 is the green? Is that what
Yep.
you're talking about? Okay. Yeah. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to that. I probably should.
No. Again, what is effective?
Right.
Looks like.
Yeah.
Well,
M-
and
When
I
you-
need to follow your rules a little bit more because I still am struggling with like a 7-cent loss. And so I'm still new, especially new to Thinkorswim. It was easier with E-Trade, but I didn't have near the tools that I do now. So it's a lot more of an intellectual trade than it was before. And I might be using those tools a little bit more than I should. Like Joe says, don't overthink it. Just follow the charts and go.
Hey, let me briefly interrupt you. Here's a shout out to Ricky. This is his first time with real money, and he made 3 trades. One was even, one was plus 6.95, the other's plus 4.54. And he said totally different than paper trading.
Way to
Yeah.
go, Rick. That's fantastic.
Yeah, man. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, that's
Very
amazing.
nice. Good work, Ricky. Also, guys, David is alive. He says,
There he
thanks for
is.
asking about me. I'm killing it. And I agree with him. 64 cents yesterday.
Nice.
Today so far, and this was like 20 minutes ago. So yeah, the boys, he's still here. He's still awesome. He's still slaying it. Just so you know. Sorry, you can continue, Mark. 64 cents in a day. Are you kidding me?
I know. That's just amazing.
What was he trading? Did he say?
He didn't. What are you trading these days? David, you still on SPY? Vance asks Martha, what additional tools are you using on Thinkorswim? And thanks for sharing. We're going to.
Yeah, I don't need to. You guys need to tell them what tools to use. I'm just some goober over here trying to make a living. So I don't think
Well, we don't.
I tell you what, it doesn't take long. Well, let me just read this one quick response here, and I want Tim to describe what he did on the podcast yesterday, because it doesn't take long to do it. And then we'll keep everybody on in. Anybody else raise their hand, and we can bring into the conversation. But this is from Mary.
Okay.
And the reason I want to read it because she compliments me. She says, "Hello, Joe.
Of
Thanks
course.
for all you do." She says, "Thanks for all you do. I see this session is being recorded. Are you going to post it?" Absolutely, Mary. It'll be posted. It takes several hours to get posted off of this GoToWebinar, but yes, it will be, and it'll show up on YouTube. So, okay, go
And
ahead.
I want to say something real quick before you cut me off. Mary is amazing. That's what she's been able to do is incredible. Be careful. Just don't think you're smarter than these guys and let it get away from you, because you're doing amazing, amazing work. And I am very impressed by you, and just keep up the good work. You're amazing.
Well, she is very smart when she compliments me.
Well, I compliment you and you still pick on me all the
Well,
time.
I don't know why it is. I don't know why that is. I'm going to have to figure it out. Anyhow.
All right, Martha, one last quick question. Thank you, David, for asking that question as well. That was a great conversation. But last question is from Peck. How did you overcome your fear and get back on the horse? Like, what was that first step to actually go from that negative to saying, like, tell me that first day, first sitting down at the computer, your heart's racing, what's going through your head?
Well, Peck, to be honest with you, I had a little vomit bucket sitting next to me. I was so nervous. You know those little buckets they give you at the hospital? I had it sitting next to me. I was so nervous.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
The first trade out of the box was a loser, and I thought, oh, here we go again. I'm trading with $500 at that point, and I literally thought my insides were going to come out. The first one was a loser, second winner, next one winner, and I'm talking one contract at a time. And I was shaking so bad, and it just, the next day I came back, and the next day I came back, and I kept listening to these guys and trading one contract at a time, and still, I mean, I'm up now to $5,000, which from 500 to 5,000 is amazing to me after losing
You
20.
only had you only had 500 in your account and you're at 5,000 now?
Yes.
So you
That's
have it.
amazing.
Wow.
But it's been a while. If you think how long ago I lost that money, you know, it was right about the same time that Tim did, and his account's probably up to
It's been a while. Wait, it's been a while. What?
Yeah, it has been.
Girl, girl.
That didn't happen overnight.
girl. You just 10 times your account in months.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Holy.
but
I did
I
not
also,
I know you've been doing well, but I did not realize that. That's 1,000% on your whole account. When we're talking percentage, guys, we're talking individual trades. We're not trading our whole account. But if you can pull 1,000% on your entire account that
well, I
quickly,
trade like today I've traded 1,300 of it. I'll probably trade at least 75% of my account today.
yeah,
So I
throughout the whole
trade
day.
back in those days. I was trading my entire account every day.
Wow, that's amazing.
Well, and it just, you know, now I have a tiny little account. I mean, I can't imagine that I'll be able to afford to go to the master class, truly, because I has to come out of my account. And
But Martha, we trade stocks because the percentage is what's key, right? The size is there, right? Billions of dollars is exchanged in a day on SPY. So let me ask you this: you have the ability to take 500 into 5,000 in the span of a few months. What is the difference between that and taking that same 5,000 into 50,000 in the same amount of time?
I'm still so gun shy, Micah, of trading big.
No, I
big
understand.
amounts
I'm
of
not
money.
telling you to push it like that, but I'm saying ability and just raw like trades, it's the same thing. It's
I
the
know, but
same
my contracts are very small.
Of
And
course.
I'm
No,
still
and
so
please stay there.
afraid.
Please
I'm-
stay there. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Please stay there. But like, that's amazing. I'm just commending you for that. That's killer.
Well, thank you. And it took I tell you, I kept that vomit bucket next to my setup for weeks.
Yep.
And I still sometimes feel queasy when I the last 2 days when I kept going in and in and in, I thought I'm going to get hit bad by this. So my only advice to everyone that's listening, don't listen to me, first of all, because I'm just a goober trying to do this, you know, but listen to the guys and follow their trades. Don't get in when they get in and wait till you, but follow them. Watch what they do. Watch when they enter. Watch when they exit, and follow them. I mean, now they have a fund that everybody wants to be part of, including myself, because they are so successful. So follow what they do. Paper trade, but make sure you note where your actual fill should have been instead of the 10-cent, you know, better fill that they gave you. Make sure you note what your actual fill should have been. And then when you get comfortable, start trading one, but, you know, listen to them. Don't listen to me. Listen to what they do. And that's how you succeed. And that's how
Let me read one more question. This is from Vance. Vance has been with us forever, and it's to Martha specifically. So I want to do this one and one more. Then I want to get Tim to explain. And also Micah got a comment here. But here's Martha. What additional tools are you using on Thinkorswim? And thanks for sharing.
Well, when I was talking about Thinkorswim, I was talking about it versus E-Trade. Thinkorswim, I'm sure that I am not using anywhere close to the tools available to me, but I have a tendency as an engineer type person that I overanalyze things and I get in my own way. But the comparison, what I was saying between E-Trade and Thinkorswim, right now I do active trader. I always have a trigger set. I watch this option chain like Tim does. I keep a real tough eye on any kind of flutter or stall or movement. But the Thinkorswim, if you spend time, get a specific guy that you talk to. I have a guy at Thinkorswim that I've spent hours, probably 20 hours on the phone with, setting up teaching me how to do my platform, setting up all the tools that are available. I mean, I just added a new one yesterday. I had an hour-long conversation with him yesterday. So, you know, you just have to, the best thing is to talk to somebody over there and get to know them, ask for them every time, and they will teach you the tools. I don't use near as many as like Tim did when he was on Thinkorswim. So he's really the one to ask about the tools to use on Thinkorswim.
Okay, let me read this from Mike, from Puerto Rico Mike, and then Tim, won't you pick up anything? So I think maybe what Puerto Rico Mike is doing here is what you described yesterday. Puerto Rico Mike says, I also enter when red is crossing blue, and I also use the amount of the angle at crossover. The greater the angle, the better chance of gain. So what are you going to talk about, Tim?
Yeah. So I
$27.
Sorry?
What'd you say?
I'll go ahead and mute Martha.
Okay. So I don't know if anyone caught that great push there on the call side on Q. I was listening to the conversation and watching it rise by 30 cents and did not get into that trade. But what I want to talk about is something I discovered is the other day I went over and looked at my last 50 trades and analyzed them and noticed something. And Martha is correct. I discovered that I was entering my trades too late, but in that process of analyzing everything, I discovered a pattern that repeats itself that is pretty reliable. And Micah, why don't you, can you give me control?
Of course. Yeah, screen share.
Yeah.
So you actually do that on your, bring up your control panel.
Oh, change
top
presenter.
right.
Okay.
Yep.
There we go. And then show my screen. Okay. You should be seeing my chart now. So I'm going to show you a couple of samples of what I discovered. Put this somewhere it's not in the way. So as I was going through my trades, I saw something that was happening. And here's what was happening when the tick goes through M1 and it doesn't break the angle through the bottom of, or to the Bollinger Band, it tends to keep going. So you notice in this example, the tick didn't break that straight line and it went straight on down. Now, typically I would enter about here at the Bollinger Band, but I could have entered back here when it crossed M3 or even M1. That's one example. Here's another one on the call side. I don't know how late these are. So you see the tick reversed, went through M1 and went in a straight line, and that straight line did not break. And it just kept going. And there was a nice trade there. See, it went well outside the Bollinger Band. You can see the distance that it went outside the Bollinger Band and the angle. And what I noticed is that when it's at an angle of somewhere between 80 and say 88 degrees, that kind of angle, it tends to keep going. But the key here is if it doesn't break that line, that straight line through the Bollinger Band, it tends to keep going. Here's another one on the call side. Starts out just under M1, goes to a straight line and breaks right through the Bollinger Band. Nice trade. And if I had entered way back here, there was probably 3 or 4 cents in this trade I could have added to my profit if I had entered that trade earlier. Here's another one on the put side. See, it stayed on a straight line and it touched the Bollinger Band and kept going. Now it did bend a little bit, but it's already outside the Bollinger Band. And that one went way down. There was a lot of profit in there. There was probably another, that distance, 2-3 cents that could have been gained in there had I gotten that earlier. And one other example, I think I just showed you this one, but here it reoccurs again about 5 minutes later, straight line through M1, breaks through the Bollinger Band and keeps going. So this is a setup that repeats itself over and over again. Now you notice this one, this M1 breaks through the M1, but it never reached the Bollinger Band before it broke. So that doesn't count. Just has to break through M1, and most of the time it will keep going. And that's it. That's basically what I discovered. Go
So,
ahead.
couple clarifications. So these are minute segments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the general is if it's on the opposite side of M1 and
Mhm.
makes it through the Bollinger within that same minute,
Yes.
or do the minutes get chained together?
No, through that same minute.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. And these setups happen, 2 to 3 times a session, and they probably happen dozens of times throughout a day. They're just a setup to keep your eye on. It's another validation point. If you want to enter a little earlier, you have a little stronger validation on it. So as I was explaining this yesterday on the podcast, Randy was listening and got into a trade that did the exact same thing. As I was explaining it, he tried it out and got into a profitable trade yesterday. So that was kind of cool validation on the call.
Well, he did it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, y'all have lots of questions. It's not necessarily that late, but I need to get all this stuff out for the weekend. Promise me not to do another trade and
I might right
do
now.
all your
actually.
attention to these questions, okay?
Okay.
Well, we
you
got
had-
SPY breaking down. I really want to.
I know.
You had 3 Qs, right?
3 Qs. Yeah.
And there's 1 Apple, and y'all all did great. We're right at 19.13% for the day, 100 and something percent.
Wow.
Over
Nice for 4
100%
days.
for the week. Yeah. So I'm gonna go do my stuff here. Okay.
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 Hope some of you guys got into that Q trade.
Yeah, I almost did on that SPY, but man, this option chain is slowing down already, which makes sense. It's a Friday, day of expiration, all that fun stuff. But man,
Peter asks, it seems that if you enter as you do, the E's are not supportive. Sometimes the E's just have not caught up yet. If you look a little past that trade, you'll see the E's will support it.
yeah, can you bring up a couple of the samples again? Just like
Sure.
side by side, even if you want to bring up a few. I'll
Sure.
support your claim here, guys. The first thing, if you remember that little explanation that we had going, that one page. Does anybody remember the first step of that? First step is positioning. So on positioning, it has to be in the correct starting point to move first. And with something like that, it's a little bit different of a read, right? And it's a lot more preemptive. You don't have to have the full cross yet, but you notice E1 was very high, E2 was very high and flattening out, and E3 was high and also flattening out. Right there you see. So that's the first step is it wasn't quite ready yet, but it was like it wasn't quite happening yet, but it was ready for it to happen.
Right.
So that's how they support it.
And here's another one.
Yeah, same thing. So E1's mid-range, but E2 and E3 are red above blue. Strong call position, and you see them both break up, right? Bam, that flare increases a lot more. right here and right here. So
Mhm.
obviously this was a huge volume expansion as well, but I would say all the other rules apply, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just another indicator that may allow us to get in just a little earlier.
Yep, it's a fine timing thing.
Yeah.
So let me ask for this clarification, Tim. The goal is for it to be on one side of the M1,
Mhm.
and then within 1 minute, break the Bollinger Band and close above.
Yes.
Where is the entry in that? Like what step of that?
Yeah. Now, normally where I would enter at the break of the upper Bollinger Band, I would back this up about to where my arrow's pointing. That's where I would do that. See, because I'm getting confirmation on the upper Bollinger Band. It's done a sharp, almost 45-degree turn up just prior to that. So if I move straight across from that break, I would probably enter there, or try to enter there. You know, because obviously there's volume buildup going on. The price, the option chain may or not be reflecting it yet, but it will. You know, as soon as it crosses that Bollinger Band, we know it's building up steam. We know the price is increasing.
Yep.
So I'm thinking my entry point is about where my arrow is pointing.
Gotcha.
You know, and it may be a matter of 1 cent, 2 cent. You know, and then like all things, it's not going to work 100% of the time, right?
Yep.
You think it's going straight down, but the steeper the angle, the more the chance is it will continue. There's a lot to that angle. You know, you look at this one, we're almost at a, you know, we're probably at a 95-degree angle.
Yep.
And this one, I would probably enter somewhere between M3 and the lower Bollinger Band.
This is the trade
Somewhere
that
in
Martha
there.
described too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think this ties right into in fact, as soon as Martha, you were talking about that, I thought, yeah, this is kind of what I discovered. I think I am entering late into these trades. I can back these up a little bit and further refine my timing in. Yeah, of course, the, you know, getting out of this is easy. It's just dropping like a rock. So, you know, take whatever your profit is, 4 or 5 cents, and jump out. Because when things drop this fast, they tend to reverse just as fast and jump up real quick, because when it gets down there, the price is getting low and people want to buy in. They're thinking this momentum is going to stop, because you don't see these kind of distances from the lower Bollinger Band, right? That's to be a very, very strong push down. Well, they tend to peter out instantly and reverse very fast. So you got to be on the trigger, or better yet, as soon as you get into that trade, set your out point, right? Set your sell.
Well, and it happened at the end of this, you know, a couple minutes before that red arrow on the right side as well. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't as clean of a break on the M lines.
Mm-hmm.
We could refine what the M lines need to do a little bit more, you know, because here is a very clean. This is what Martha was talking about. M1s, you know, we're full stacked up, and then we have that kind of simultaneous crossover right underneath where your blue arrow is.
Mm-hmm.
That seemed to be a little bit more what Martha was looking for, but I think we could, I think we could really refine this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can figure, like you said, we can figure out what the M lines are doing, find out if there's a correlation there, what the exact correlation is. We can absolutely pinpoint that entry point, you know, and have it work most of the time. Nothing works 100% of the times, but you know, as you look at these charts more and more, you study these charts more and more, you pick up patterns in it, and they start to look familiar, right? You start going, I know this pattern, you know, I know what's going to happen.
Yep.
Let me get that off of
Nothing.
there.
Let me grab some of these questions. Jeff, account under 20K, we can only make 5 trades in a week, correct? No. If you're under 25,000 on a margin account, you're on PDT, you can only make 3 trades every 5-day rolling period. If you change that to cash, so there's margin and cash accounts, if you change it over, you're good to go. You can unlimited trades, but you can, yeah, they'll explain. There's margin and cash accounts. If you're under 25K and you want to make more trades, you switch to cash. Larry, Melissa, E-Trade does not allow day trading pattern without 25K in the account minimum. Is that why you left and went to Thinkorswim? Same answer, Melissa. Probably on a she's on a cash account. Guarantee it. I love that Martha treats it like the profession it is for us. Thank you, Joe, for your leadership. Yeah, yeah, we're not messing around, hobbying here. It's serious stuff. For Tim and I, and for some of you too, the transition. Martha, lots of compliments to Martha. Angle. The entry before you. Yeah, we just did that. Dates. Mm-hmm. No dates for the conference in March. I'm gonna text him today because he said it was in March, and that's next month. And we don't have the. Do we have the date on that?
I don't think it's going to be in March. We've run into just logistics problems getting the proper places to hold it.
Okay.
And so I don't know the exact date. It's going to be closed, but it's not going to be in March. So.
Okay. So close, but the proper place was already booked or something like that, probably. Sorry about talking when I wasn't muted, Michael. Oh, it's fine. Happens to me all the time. I was excited that I made a huge profit on Apple. Strike. Tim, I noticed that in some of those examples, E1 line is actually not in the correct position. How do we reconcile that?
Yeah, I think we just talked about that.
Yeah, the positioning, right? It may not be crossing yet, but it's high. Notice the whole goal of this step is to get into the trade earlier. So if we're getting in earlier than we normally do, we know that, it's almost a guarantee that it's not going to be there yet, right? Now, if E2 and E3 were, we're going into this move and E2 and E3 were flat bottomed out, that'd be a different story. But we don't need it to cross yet because the whole point is getting in earlier. Usually we get in on the cross or right after the cross. So if it is already crossed, maybe even that would be a downside to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lannon, he doesn't have that one page. How do I get that? I'm going to make a video with it and make a welcome packet. And then it'll be transcribed onto there. So I still have to make the video and put it all together. Brian, yeah, no confirmation on E1. E1 won't happen yet.
Right.
Yeah, and we'll continue refining this and explain it.
Yeah,
we're recording this, Martha. Angle change. Based on how many minutes you're looking at, like an accordion. Yep.
Entering for the Bollinger Band. No, it will not bend. I don't know that it won't bend at the Bollinger Band, and occasionally it does, but it seems to not veer very far. That is, it doesn't reverse. Most of the time, when you have an angle like that, it will keep going. But the thing is, no, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's a stock market. It can go any way. It can go any way it can. But we just look back historically and base it off that data.
Oh, I didn't realize you broke low of day on the new lows here.
Oh wow! Wow, we are $7, $6 off the high on Q. Boy, it's definitely in a pullback period.
Kathy has her hand raised. See that? I'll unmute you, Kathy. And yep, you're just self-muted. Now you can unmute.
Hi, I just did.
Hey, how's it going, Kathy?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing great. You had a question on one of the samples. You remember which one?
The last sample that Tim did. Is there a way that you can bring that back up? Yeah. So the tick went down in that big movement,
Mhm.
And then the next, where it turns below the lower Bollinger and heads back up, and it looks like the same type of angle, but it
Mhm.
doesn't go as far. Are you able to see that it's not going to go as far as the previous one, or
Are you
know what I'm
talking
saying?
the call in between or the next put?
The very next call, where it turns
Next
around and
call.
heads up, that call.
Mhm.
Are you able to see that it's not going to have the same momentum?
Well, there's a lot of factors. Yes. One, it has a break in it.
Okay.
Okay, but that break is even to a sharper call, right?
Mm-hmm.
It breaks through M1, so it's has promise. It has a lot of promise. But look at the distance between M1 and the upper Bollinger Band.
Okay.
It has to travel a lot of distance to really confirm.
Gotcha.
And if I look down, look at what's going on E4. We've got buying, right? That pushed it a little bit, but we have less buying on the next one. And then look at the very next bar. It's back to selling pressure, which we see there. Okay.
Okay.
And if you look at this this sharp down angle, we went from buying, the price was hitting above the 0 line, and then it didn't even register, so it was right at 0, so it was dropping fast. And you look at the next 2 bars, there's a sharp angle down on selling. There's downward pressure, extreme downward pressure that's going on, and there's an angle there. You can see that's pretty sharp.
Okay. Yep.
I would also say the intention of the move, right? The moves themselves are different. So we see this call, it's in consolidation off the screen, and then we push into this call and it fails. It gets rejected hard. Probably hit, a high of something, everything like that. The Bollinger's just started to expand, just started to go stacked up, and it failed hard. So that's a failure, right? That can lead to a big reversal. So that's what happens. It heads the other direction because it showed that it wasn't going that way. This is a big move. The Bollinger Bands explode. So when this stops and comes back, that's not failing, that's done, right? It's tired and then it bounces.
Okay.
So this call, this first call and this second call, for instance, as far as the people that are buying and selling it, are totally different. They both go up, right? But that's all they have in common. The reason we're buying into it is different. So, you have to keep in mind if it's continuation, is it a spike, is it a failure, is it a bounce, and then kind of think what the market is thinking and why.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. Appreciate you coming on, Kathy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Have a good Friday, everybody, and a good weekend.
Thank you, Kathy. You too.
Thanks.
Kathy muted. All right. Jim, it's my first day on Thinkorswim. On my screen, I'm viewing the ladder, option chain, and ice charts. Tim, when you say you watch the option chain, are you referring to the ladder or actual option chain? Also, when placing an order, you've said use control-click. Can you explain?
Sure. I'm using the option chain, and you have a little bit of setup in the settings to do, but you can set it up to where you hover your mouse over the ask price, you press shift, and then just click that price, and it will put that order in. Okay. It's real simple, and it generally fills really, really fast. It's a one-click fill.
Yep. Yeah, hotkeys. Tony talked a lot about those, and when he was around, you can. I mean, these are all computer programs, right? So you can set hotkeys to nearly anything. I have F8 on my keyboard at all times. F8 is my big red button, right? It's when, God forbid, something crazy happens. I don't know what's going on. Something gets mixed up. Catastrophic failure of any kind. F8 is cancel all open orders, sell all positions at market. Just get
Get out.
everything, right? So
Yeah.
that's that's just a hotkey. Shift, enter. You can have hotkeys to buy at the bid, to buy 1 cent below the bid. The ask. Sorry, 1 cent below the ask. Everything in between, and they're handy. There's some traders that literally don't use a mouse. They're background of programmers or something, and they just type to do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do the same thing on TradeStation. I've got a one-click order, and pretty much and a one-click sell. What's cool about TradeStation is I can see what's going on, what trades are going on, and I can put in a trade between the bid and the ask, anywhere between the bid and the ask, which actually I experimented with today and got filled. So especially when the price is bouncing around a lot, like it's been doing today, I got fills, way below the ask, which was awesome. And I couldn't really do that on Thinkorswim without going in and putting in a price.
Absolutely, man. We got a bit of a call opening up here on SPY. Never mind. I just looked at the SPY chart, and it's E1 is very crappy.
Mm.
Yeah, see, the calls are just pathetic today. They start and they try, but they just
But they fail. Yeah.
I haven't said that word in a while.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see.
This
We got
one actually has potential. I may be eating my words here. This one has potential. We see we full crossed on E4. E1's overextended way too early, but then again, it's been going down all day. E2 is flat. E3 is flat and ready to cross up. So if we're not locked into consolidation, it could actually.
So you're on SPY?
SPY, yeah.
Yeah. Let me switch over.
We'll have to close it up here. I'm picking up my girlfriend's family from the airport.
Oh, big
Soon.
weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know why my chart is just thinking. It's not switching over. Sometimes have this issue. Yeah, let's go ahead and finish up. Tony, when you enter on shift click, do you stop and limit orders enter automatically? From Mary?
Oh, she meant Tim, I think.
Oh.
When does your hotkey set a bracket with it?
It can if I'm trading, on Thinkorswim, if I'm trading in active trader, yes. Yes, it will. And I have 2 setups in there for different stop levels, but I have a chart setup or a setup, sorry, that has 2 stops on it, 4 and 5 cents. But I never hit those anymore. So I'm usually out way before that. And sometimes now that I'm over on TradeStation, I'm not doing Thinkorswim anymore, but the last couple of weeks on Thinkorswim, I was just simply trading off the option chain. I would put in my order, one-click order, then I'd do my sell to close right there on the option chain. Maybe it's overconfidence, but I just got to where I was just didn't want to do many keystrokes. Let's see, Martha asked, does that work on any platform or do you have to set up the F8? I think you have to set that up specifically. That's not a preset hotkey.
No, they're called macros.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're looking into it, you want to look at macros is yeah, it's way too intense to go into, and
Yeah.
can't all. You need a screen share to really understand and everything.
Yeah. Just now, micro is like a micro and anything else. It just sets up a series of keystrokes that execute automatically with one key.
Yep.
That was for Tim. Okay, got it. Well, we are 20 minutes past. Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I believe so. That was a killer day, guys.
Yeah.
For Tim, sorry, no problem, Mary. Tony and Tim have similar names. Even joke it's
Yeah.
it switch sometimes.
No worries.
Um,
No worries.
Platform. Can you explain why E1 is bad? Yeah, it's just it's about positioning, right? So the first step, I guess I should explain it on Tim's. IWM is fine.
Okay, Joe, I can switch it back to you or you can take control back.
Yeah, just so I can use my cursor really quick. Boom,
Yeah.
boom, bam.
There we
bam.
go. There we go.
Yeah, last thing, and then we'll hop off. So E1, this happens sometimes. We did continue on SPY, right? But it had its little cross up here. Just started to get above the Bollinger Band, and when it got to the spot where it could take off here, E1 was already at the top. If the flare happens too quickly on E1, it kind of worries me, right? Because I want to see if E1's flaring, it should be because it's ramping. So when we're not ramping and E1 has this huge response, what it shows me is E1's built on averages, right? Every indicator is built on the average price of the last period run through any number of mathematic formulas. So when we see this huge, pop here on E1 and nothing happens here, it just shows me we're either in consolidation, there's not going to be much power behind it, something like that, because, E1 has to reset already. If E1's topped out, like in a different scenario, we talk about E1, and if it's already topped out, we're not likely to want to enter that because the short-term momentum is already gone. Same thing. If we just get ready to go into a call and we're already maxed out, which we weren't, we had a little bit more room on E1, but this is you can see how extreme this flare is. Even compared to this last put, it just blew open. So that's what I didn't really like about it. Because of where it is in the case. Yeah, but the flare more. The distance between is drastic. That's something you'd see if this tick blew open to 333 334 40. You'd want to see an E1 like this. So things that disagree are always the biggest negative to us, when it should be tied together and it's not, is our biggest red flag. So awesome Friday, guys.
Yeah.
Killer work, David. It's good to hear from you. I'm so glad you're doing well. And then the other David, thank you for bringing in that conversation. That was really beneficial for everybody. It's always a good sign when all of you are like, hey, where's the recording? Give me the recording. I want to read this again, hear this again. That's fantastic. So thank you, David, for doing that. Thank you, Martha, for being an example and, staying humble, and you're doing awesome. Thanks, Matt. I see your question there, or your comment. I'm glad it was helpful for you. Good job, Martha. Keep on it. Yeah, it's just been a good week. So
yeah, it's been a great week. Got some good returns. And also, guys, let us know how we can improve. Let us know what you need. We want everybody on this call to make money, and to learn how to, well, actually, first off, to learn how to do this on your own. The money will follow. Yep. But it's been a great week, man. Love you guys.
Yeah. You're awesome too, Kathy. Appreciate it. Steve, we need the charts to stop freezing up. Preach. Preach, Steve. Yeah. I don't know. We'll email him again. I don't know, man. We've talked to him so many times about this, this process, and it's just not happening. So I don't know why. And it's in high volatility, which doesn't make sense because they don't run any more data through, right? They're a charting service. Yeah, it's driven by Reuters or whatever, but I don't know. It's weird. All righty, guys. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Take care.
All right.
You too. Talk to you guys Monday.
Bye-bye.